What is going on, guys? It's the Black Swordsman here, and in today's video I'm going to be showing you an OP early game strength build for Nioh. That's not going to be a well optimized build, but it is good enough for you to get through the first few regions of the game if you're planning to pick this game up. In today's video I want to be showing you the core stats that you're going to be needing, the skills you're going to be learning, the guardian spirit that you're going to be using, and the gear that you're going to be acquiring. Anyway, let's get into it. Now with your stats, you put 10 into body, this affects your life. It will increase your life, your health in the game. So it ensures that you're not going to get one shot by enemies. Your heart is going to affect your ki. And the weapons that we are going to be using are strength weapons, so they're going to use a lot of ki. So we do need high enough ki to use those weapons without running out of it. Your stamina, we're going to put that up to 13, but you can also put it at 10. This is going to affect your equipment weight and going to put you at the B agility. Your strength is going to be your primary attribute, that's going to affect the damage of your weapon that you're going to be using. Put this up to 50 or the highest level, which is 99. Your skill and dexterity we are not going to be using, so you can leave that at the base stat that they give you. Your magic, put it either to 10 or 15. That's going to allow us to use some of the Nioh magic abilities that I'll be showing you later on in the video. Your spirit needs to be 10. This is going to allow us to use all of the abilities, the Kato, the guardian spirit that we're going to be using. This needs to be 10, nothing less. Because if this is below 10, you won't be able to use Kato's effects to his full ability. Anyway, let's get into the equipment. Now with the equipment, we're going to be using a axe and an odachi. Now while we're going to be using an axe and an odachi, an axe is going to be used for your yokai enemies. It's because it's heavy hitting, this is going to decimate their health really quickly. Now the odachi is going to be used for your human enemies. This will destroy their ki and put them into a final blow state really quickly. Now use the weapons, not the ones that I have, but the highest level weapons we have at the time. For me it's the odachi and the Shura war axe. And now for your long range weapon, use either a rifle or a cannon. And now to get into more detail, a rifle is really good for against your weaker enemies that you want to pick off one by one. And now for your bow, you can use any bow that you want. Essentially use the highest level bow and the highest level rifle you have at the time, just like your weapons. But now for your armor set, you're going to be using the Warrior of the West armor set. Is a 5-piece Warrior of the West armor set. Now this, actually if you have 5 pieces of this, it gives you special abilities, attributes that you're going to be needing. Let me show you. I'm going to be having damage reduction, skill damage, close combat damage. I want to have increase of my defense, and the most important stat of this Warrior of the West armor set is going to be increased close damage and enemies are electrified by 28%. Now this is one of the most important stats, because when I get into my skills and my Nioh magic, one of the Nioh magic talismans that we're going to be using is going to basically make our weapon really powerful. I'll be getting into that later on in the video. Anyway, let's talk about our guardian spirit. And for our guardian spirit, we are going to be using Kato. This guardian spirit, you can choose one of the 3 main guardian spirits you can choose at the beginning of the game. You choose this one here. As you can see, it gives me spirit protection, close combat attack +5. It increases my ki recovery speed, which is important because we have B agility. This is a decrease our combat ki usage when our health is low. So if you're in really low health, your attacks and dodging will use less ki by 20%. But the most important is increased skill damage. Now this is really good, is because when I get into skills, and one of the skills that we're going to be using for our weapons is going to be really overpowered, and it's going to pair well with this attribute. is it's self-explanatory. This increases your damage on your weapon when you use a certain skill, which is why we're using Kato as our guardian spirit. Now let's get into our skills. Now in our skills, we're going to be for our X, we're going to be using Rage or either Battle Focus. Now I highly recommend you use Battle Focus over Rage, is because this Battle Focus is going to tie in with one of our other skills for this X. Let me explain what Battle Focus is. It increases your ki when dodging in exchange for decreasing your ki when attacking. So basically, every time you attack, you're going to be using less ki, and because the X uses a lot of ki, this is a really useful ability, a useful skill. But the other main skill that we're going to be using is Mad Spinner and Mad Spinner 2. You can get both of these after completing the Way of the Warrior Adapt Dojo mission. And now that's gradually, you basically swing your X like a madman. To just show you how the move works, let me play the movie. As you can see, it is a really weird ability, but it's a really powerful. And just as a side note, you do not stagger when you have this ability on. It really is good against boss fights. When I get into the Omeo section, I will explain why one of the Omeo that we're going to be using, combination with this and Battle Focus, really makes boss fights trivial, I'm not gonna lie. And in our Udachi section, Crashing Waves, as you can see, this decimates human ki. It really puts them in a final blow state for you to one-shot them. Flux you can get in basically any weapon. The Retrograde Throw also is one of the more important skills, as this is going to also help with the ki damage against human enemies. But if you want to use an Audachi for fighting yokai, I highly recommend you get the Tiger's Blade. This is where you do the Way of the Warrior veteran mission in the dojo. As you can see, it is a really simple skill to pull off, but it can only be done in low stance, but it does massive amount of damage to yokai enemies. If you want to only do an Audachi build, I highly recommend you get these. And now into your ninjutsu section, I don't really need to get any ninjutsu skills, is because we're not doing a ninjutsu build. But a passive that you really want is Sneak Attack. Now what Sneak Attack does is you can essentially sneak up on an enemy and do basically a sneak attack, which does massive amount of damage, especially now that we're using heavy weapons. This will decimate enemies' health before the fight even begins. And now, one of the more important sections, your Omeo magic. Now with your Omeo magic, what you really want is this, the Sloth Talisman. Now this actually reduces the enemy movement speed greatly. It even says in the item description. To be quite honest with you, this is game breaking. This makes Nioh a really easy game to fight bosses. You'll see why in a second, because I will be showing you gameplay on how I destroy this one boss in a second region with this Sloth Talisman. Now, and another really good talisman to use is Steel. As you can see, where is it? Steel Talisman. This increases your defense. So now, because you can combine this with another skill called Carnage, as you can see here, this increases your damage but decreases your defense. So if you use these two together, you can increase your defense while increasing your damage at the same time, which is really overpowered. Anyway, that is for the skill section. I showed you the importance of getting this build ready and started going, and now I'm gonna demonstrate to you how overpowered this build really is. And now, just to show you guys the power of this build, I'm gonna be fighting one of the early game bosses and destroying him. Anyway, let's get into it. Come here. Okay, these guys are annoying, so take them out first. Like, anyway, let's battle focus. Wait. Lightning Talisman. Carnage. Oh my god, took damage. Sloth. Taking way too much of damage. And just do that. Would you look at that? I destroyed this guy. Well, he did get some few good hits off from me, but damn, did you see that? I annihilated him. Now this is the power of the build that I just done. Like I said, it's not a well optimized build, but I did try to make it as optimized as I could, but it is, I'm only at, as you can see, level 77. But anyway guys, this is it for the video. I hope you guys enjoy, and I hope to see you next time. Peace. Guys, just as a quick tidbit, I forgot to add this into the video, but one of the main Nioh magic abilities that you're going to be needing is the Lightning Talisman. It envelops your weapon in lightning and it basically allows your weapon to do lightning damage. As you saw in the previous clip at the end, how I decimated that boss fight. As you can see, why I did so much of damage is because if I imbue my weapon with lightning and I go over to my Ward of the West armor set attributes, I actually get close combat attack damage increase when enemies are electrified. So if I use those two together, I have a plus 28% damage increase for my weapons. In combination with that, with the Med Spinner ability with my axe, you just saw what I done to that boss. This was a quick tidbit that I wanted to edit into the video that I forgot to. Anyway guys, see you next time.